In the UK, it would be Chinese, Japanese, bend over and wash your knees. But over here, it was, I want to find a white man so I can have a half a child like you. Biracial doesn't mean you're bicultural. And I think in Japan, a lot of people don't understand when I say that. With my music, I thought I can only write in one language. It was actually blocking me from writing because people couldn't comprehend what I was.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. If you're enjoying the show, subscribing is the best way to support us. It helps us grow and bring you new stories from life in Japan. All right, let's jump in. Welcome to Unpacking Japan. I'm Toby, and today I have the pleasure to welcome Shala. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Can I introduce myself?
Yes. We were talking about this. You have this very unique intro that is specific to you, so I don't want to steal it from you. Go ahead.
Greetings, my interstellar children from planet Earth, Japan. 惑星シャラソフィアの皆様、地球上日本からこんにちは。シャラです。
Where does this come from? How did you kind of come up with this intro, and why has it become so important for you to kind of keep that going wherever you introduce yourself?
Honestly, it just happened because I was just living life. So I'd continuously communicate with my interstellar children via my Instagram stories. And so as I was continuously just uploading, it just kind of developed itself. I always wanted something to, I don't know, I believe in strong beginnings, middle and ends. Like I'm a storyteller. So yeah, for me, I think that's where it happened. Yeah.
So you're an artist.
Yes.
You were born in Japan, in Nagoya.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up in multiple places,
Mm-hmm.
in China, in New Zealand, and then spent a long time in the UK. And now you're back in Japan, where you have shifted from doing a lot of dance and choreography,
Mm-hmm.
which you still do, but also to being a singer-songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
You've released an album recently. You've got more exciting work coming up. And your music is very meaningful to you and to many other people. It conveys a lot of personal experiences. And I think these experiences are a lot of what we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get into that, I'm curious a little bit about hearing your journey. So you grew up here, but then very quickly you moved abroad.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you to kind of, at a young age, start living abroad in multiple countries?
Well, I first moved to the UK when I was 3, and I wasn't living in London or Manchester. I was living in a small town called Bishop Auckland, which is near Newcastle. So it was my family and the Chinese takeaway family. We were the only 2 Asians in the whole town. And in my primary school, it was me and there was a black and white mixed race kid. So I was, even though we're both half white, but obviously he's the black kid, I'm the Asian kid. And so that's the kind of environment that I was in. And I didn't understand, I did experience some racism back then, but obviously when you're a kid, you don't really realize how messed up certain things are. And I always felt like language was something slow and difficult for me to understand because as a bilingual child, it's, as you can imagine, I'm not just studying one language. So moving around to different places, it was, I look back and realize actually like I'm really bad at talking. And music and dancing with the 2 languages, that made sense to me. You know,
So from a young age, you kind of gravitated towards music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it creating music or sort of say singing first or dancing?
I'd say listening to music first, listening and just falling in love with music. And then I'm like MTV generation as well. So watching music videos and just, the connection of that dance has with music. It just, I don't know, it just spoke to me.
Was there a video at that time already that kind of had a special impact on you that you kind of like, you watched this as a kid and you're like, oh
my gosh. I remember actually, I think was it last year or 2 years ago when I was feeling quite low. I was like, I want to watch Janet Jackson's Doesn't Really Matter. And
Oh.
I was watching it and I just started crying because I was just like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this. And that's the same year I got to meet Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who were and are responsible for Janet Jackson's like discography, basically. So yeah, I'd say Janet Jackson, Missy Elliott, and I've had a few people say to me like, you know, you're like the Japanese Missy Elliott, which is like a huge compliment. Who else? Gosh, there's so many greats.
What is it about those about this Janet Jackson video that kind of got you to cry? What was the part of it that was so meaningful to you?
It was because I experienced and watched that and was inspired by that when I was so young and pure and, you know, just full of energy. Because like life can, you know, bring you down sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to stand up and get up over and over again. And it's easy to choose to be bitter. And so watching that Janet music video, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I just kind of felt like I was a kid again, you know? And I just remembered, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know anything. And, you know, just all these dreams kind of thing. Yeah, so that's why it made me cry.
So music as a child, when you were abroad and kind of navigating different languages and different cultures, was a way for you to kind of, was a constant in your life a little bit, in a way.
Yeah, like honestly, like music and dancing, like I said before, it's the only language that made sense to me because it was like one language. Like it doesn't matter if we don't speak the same language. If we both danced, like we can communicate, you know?
At what age did you kind of get started with actual dancing and this kind of were thinking, like, oh, I want to be maybe like in a music video and dance as a background dancer?
Well, my first dance class was in England, and I went. Anyone British watching this is gonna laugh. I used to do disco dancing. Disco, yeah, which is like it's such an English thing. And so that's what I actually started off doing. I think I did it for like a year, you know. And then my dad, he was doing tanshin funin in Japan. So he was working in Japan because the yen was so strong. And I was in the UK with my mom and my brothers. And so he'd come back every holiday. And in the UK, we've got this thing called the a school disco as well. So it's not different from disco dancing. So school disco, it's like, you know, I don't know, Halloween, Christmas, whatever, you know, we all gather in the little primary school or whatever. And we'd get a local DJ, which is probably someone's dad, you know.
To put on a playlist.
Someone's dad, yeah, to be the DJ. And the DJ would say, okay, I'm going to choose one boy and one girl to dance on stage, you know? And I just knew that was me. And like I said, my dad would come back every holiday kind of thing. And my dad watched me dancing and he said, like, it looked like I became a different person. And I can't explain it. It's like I transform into a different creature, like a superhuman version of myself. And I still remember it as a kid. And then so I'd go for it. And then I'd get chosen to dance up on stage. So like, yeah. And so there was those moments. And then when I moved back to Japan when I was 中学校1年生, I saw an advertisement on Nagoya subway, like on the train. And it was for a dance studio. And I said to my dad, Dad, I wanna dance. I don't know, I just felt it in me. And my dad, this always tells me when he's drunk, he goes, oh, you know, I remember how you were when you were in the UK, how you just dance better than anybody in that school. And so I knew like you're going to be a dancer one day. And so, answering, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No,
sorry.
you are.
I don't know. Like it wasn't like I'm going to be a backup dancer or it wasn't that, but I just knew like, I don't know. There was something, a voice in me that said, I need to do this. Not I have to. I need to do this.
you started with like this disco dancing, which was this very specific to the UK. But when you saw the studio in Nagoya, did you have a more specific idea of like the kind of dance you wanted to do? I mean, you could have gone the ballet route or like the breakdance route or any other genre.
Yeah, so the classes that I ended up taking was very heavily inspired by music videos. So in the early 2000s, it was like there's a style called jazz funk. So those Janet Jackson music videos that Gil would choreograph, or like even Britney Spears with Brian Friedman, like all of those movements it falls under the jazz funk category. So I started off with jazz funk in Nagoya, and I was literally training every day. Like I'd go to school, I'd take my dance bag with me, I'd leave school, I'd get to the dance studio 5 p.m. and I'll stay there till 10. And I'll do that 5 days a week. On a Saturday, I will go to the dance studio from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. because I don't know, I was serious. And it wasn't like I didn't have people forcing me to. It was just like, it's a necessity. I need to do this.
A way for you to get out of your shell, to express yourself.
Yeah.
You were talking about how, as a young kid, you were the only Asian in that school, and then there was this half black, half white kid as well. But you don't necessarily realize when you're so young what people say, how they perceive you, how they treat you.
Yeah.
When did you start realizing and feel like maybe dancing is a way I can express and process all of this?
Well, I'm still figuring that out, to be honest. I'm still figuring out. But I do remember, it kind of answers your question, but I do remember in primary school, Spice Girls was really popular. And in my school, we were playing Spice Girls. And I liked Posh Spice. And we had 5 girls who were the Spice Girl members. And when I said, "Oh, it's my turn. Can I be Posh Spice now?" I remember the kids and the school teacher looking at me puzzled, saying, "But you don't look like Posh Spice. You can be the makeup artist." But then the white school teacher would put dark foundation on one of the girls to make her look like Scary Spice. So they were basically doing blackface. And so I just have those memories as a kid, like being confused, like why can't I be Posh Spice? You know, it's very innocent because I'm a kid still, you know. And then looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so like, what's the word I'm looking? It's fucked up. Sorry, I said I wasn't gonna swear, but it's fucked up.
I mean, yeah, as a kid, you can't really process that.
No,
right?
Yeah. So I like in my mind, there was a part of me that agreed with it. Oh yeah, okay. And I look back and I think, no. What do you mean? Like, it's fucked.
How was it now, the reverse experience? Because you had your first years of school in the UK, and then your Asian side was highlighted. But then you come back to Japan, where as a half, maybe your Western side might be more highlighted. Did you have the reverse experience, or did you feel
Absolutely.
like this was... Oh,
sorry to cut
no,
you.
I was just gonna kind of finish up by saying, or did you have like maybe like completely different experience with how that kind of went down here?
I still have them till this day, and it boggles me, like, honestly. So back when I was in chugakko, koko, I specifically remember continuously being praised because my eyes were bigger, or my skin was whiter, or my nose is taller, like, you know, higher bridge, hana ga takai, or my face is smaller, or whatever. And it made me happy, but I didn't understand. At the time, I didn't understand why, you know. And I went to a school where there was multiple mixed race kids, kikokushijo, so kids who had spent years outside of Japan, and also gaikokujin kids as well. So it was a safe space for like us kind of weirdos, international kids. And I just couldn't understand how my friends who were Filipino Japanese mix or Zambian Japanese mix. Like, they're beautiful, but I'm the one that gets praised. The white American and Japanese friend is the one that gets praised. And I couldn't quite grasp it until I moved to London as an adult and started educating myself and seeing things and seeing the world for how it is, you know? Yeah. So my experiences, I do get this like alienated experience in Japan. Like even the other day, I'm like, Zairyu card or miste kudasai. Like they were asking me for my Zairyu card. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? But it's very different from how it was back then. Like in the UK, it would be Chinese, Japanese, bend over and wash your knees. But over here, it was, I want to find a white man so I can have a half a child like you. And it was just, yeah. So those are the differences.
So a lot of experiences that you're reflecting upon now, but at the time they were kind of like surprised, oh, what's going on, but unsure what to do with it. And your focus was on dancing, where you were spending all your evenings and all your weekends. It was a way for you to express yourself. At what point in your kind of dance practice did you maybe start becoming serious about it? Like, oh, I could become a professional dancer.
Like, honestly, like the moment I was serious about dancing is when I was 3 years old, like dancing in my living room, if I'm being completely honest. Like my soul was like, I need to serve this. Like, I can't explain it. But I think maybe around 15, I was like, yeah, like that's when I was like going to the studio all the time, you know? But I didn't quite understand what the possibilities were as a dancer as well, especially in Nagoya, because I think one thing I've learned as an adult is if you've consumed something on the television or social media or whatever, like that's all you think that exists, right? And so I didn't realize, like, for example, when I was working in the UK, the amount of DOPs, like camera operators that were dancers. And it made so much sense because as dancers, we've got spatial awareness. And as a cameraman, you need spatial awareness, especially if you're like carrying like a steady cam and you're making a shot and you need to understand, okay, I need to take 5 steps, but like I can lower my pelvis and like, it's kind of like dancing, you know? So like, I didn't realize, oh, there's actually, my dance training can open so many different doors that I didn't quite realize, you know? But answering your question, sorry, I keep going on.
No.
Like, I honestly, from the age of like 3, I'd say I was passionate about it.
And at the age of 15, you started seeing opportunities.
Yeah.
So when you moved back to London eventually, was this professional kind of goal in mind of, oh, I'll find opportunities in the world? Or was it just to move like, oh, I'm done with like school here and I want to maybe go to university or?
So when I moved to the UK, I originally went because I wanted to do music, so my artist project. And I thought, okay, my ignorant mind, I was like, I can only do it in America or the UK. Like, that's what I thought. And because I'm British as well, I was like, well, it makes sense for me to go to the UK. And there was so many artists that were coming out from the UK that spoke to me as well. I was like, there's something happening in the UK. So I went to the UK. But then when I went, I actually joined a girl group first, but I didn't know who I was. I couldn't even play an instrument. I couldn't, I wasn't an artist. I could sing a little, I could dance a little, you know, because there's a difference with an artist and being a singer. There's a difference with being a dancer and being an artist, you know.
Can you explain what that difference is for you?
Yeah, and I've offended some people by saying this. So you can be an artist and be a cook.
Yes.
But just because you can cook, for example, it doesn't mean that you are somebody that creates new recipes.
Okay.
So having a skill set and being a creative is not the same. However, we live in a world where people think, oh, because you do music, because you sing at a hotel, singing covers, you're an artist. And it's like, no. A gardener can be an artist.
So the artist is a creator.
Exactly. And so I realized that I was a skills woman. I was a singer and a dancer, but I wasn't a creative. I wasn't an artist yet. And so when I first moved to the UK, I was in a girl group, and I stepped away from everything to figure myself out. Who am I? Because one thing I've noticed about artists that I like, you've always got something you want to say. It's very clear. And that's what makes a great artist for me. You have something that, not what you want to say, a need, a necessity to speak, to express yourself. And whether you use that through dancing or singing or melody, whatever it is, through architecture, whatever it is. So I stepped away from everything. And then because I had my dance training, I was able to work as a dancer. And I put in a lot of hours once I got to the UK, because obviously the level's different. But a lot of doors opened for me in dancing. So as I was able to experience an amazing dance career in the UK.
I mean, you've danced for Pharrell Williams.
Yes, Pharrell Williams.
And Charli X.
Yeah, Charli a couple of times, yeah. Charli XCX, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran.
What's it like to perform and dance on stage for such big kind of names in the music industry? Because when you are maybe a fan and you watch the videos or like a concert, usually the eyes are on the performer, and the background dancers are all there. You see them moving, but you don't pay attention. But they are doing also like heavy lifting.
Oh my god! Do you know what pisses me off about those kind of gigs? You can get a band mime, so they're like pretending to play, right? They're not mic'd up or anything. The singers miming, but the dancers, you can't mime dance.
No.
You can't. Like, you have to go, as we say, full the fuck out. You have to go full out. But then most of the times dancers get paid less.
Oh.
And it would drive me insane. It's like, you're doing half amount of work. Not like, respect the musicians. I'm a musician myself, respect. But like, the dancers get treated like shit. It's so bad.
What goes into preparing for one of those performances for you? Like, let's say someone reaches out and is like, "Oh, Pharrell Williams has a concert in London. We'd like you to be a background dancer on stage." What do you do then? Like, how much you need to prepare, and how long until you're able to kind of go there on stage? And
wait, before I answer this question, I didn't answer your last question. Should I answer the last question?
Go.
Okay, so the last question was like, what's it like to dance with big artists? Honestly, like, dancing for big artists, it's no difference from dancing for like a small group of people. Like, I don't know. It was just like, stadiums and arenas were my favorite. But it, honestly, like,
the core is just the dance. It doesn't matter who you're dancing for.
God, I should be honest.
It's up to you.
Right, it's just a job. It's just a job. Because the thing is, I respect a lot. I respect all of the artists that I worked with, and I'm fortunate to work with a lot of amazing people. But what I had something I needed to express, and it wasn't in line with a lot of what they were saying. I'm not saying I disagree with them. It's not that. Like, I support them, but it's more like, if I'm going to spend my time like this, I'd rather focus on spending my time on something that I need to say, you know? Does that answer the question?
Yeah. And so what then, so there's I want to get back to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the preparation for these, because I imagine then it doesn't matter if it's a big artist or not. For you, it's a job, and you have a choreography that you need to follow and learn and be able to execute. How much work does it represent to kind of?
So, like, for the X Factor Pharrell performance, I think we had a Friday and a Saturday, I think. So the audition was, I believe, was like on a Friday morning, and then the audition's probably like an hour, 2 hours long, and then they'll choose there and then because of how fast paced it is, and then. So obviously I booked the gig, so they asked me to stay. and the people that got cut has to leave, and then the next they'll be like, okay, come back tomorrow again, do an 8-hour rehearsal, and then on Sunday we do a quick rehearsal, and then do live TV.
That's super short, like
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
for something that is live, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
retake it. Wow.
So with something like the X Factor, it's quick turnaround. You need to be able to pick up choreography quickly. So that's one thing a skill I developed while I was in the UK. I'd watch something once or twice and pretty much have it in my body. And then another skill that was really important is, can I do it reversed straight away?
Oh.
Because sometimes you might get a choreographer that's like an hour before the show being like, can you reverse the whole thing? 'Cause I want you to be opposite. You have some people like that.
Also, like you were supposed to stand behind on the left and now behind on the right, and you basically have to change.
Yeah, so
it.
like let's say the choreography, like if that was the choreography right, left, then everything have to be reverse, left, right. From top to bottom. You have to.
When you had these auditions, I imagine it's a lot of talented dancers that kind of
Yes.
show up. What are the deciding factors then in the end for people to kind of be selected or not?
Well, for the pop gigs, honestly, looks super, super big. Like it's very important. And in the UK, it's usually like, okay, we're going to have a white girl with blonde hair. We're going to have a black girl, a mixed race girl. And mixed race in the UK dance industry means black and white, or black and a different race. So I wasn't considered mixed race. I was the Asian one. And then there's always one Asian one. And so there's this structure that's, it doesn't offend anybody, kind of, so there's that. So, for example, when I was auditioning for Dua Lipa, the choreographer cut down to like 9-10 girls or something, and she needed 8. And it was myself, and there was another Asian girl, and then there was a fully Asian girl there. And the choreographer asked me to stay and asked everybody else to leave. And she says, I think you know what's happening right now. And I said, yeah, I get it. It's me or the other Asian girl. Because she was one of the few people that, saw me as Asian. And basically she said, I'm not going to hire you because you're really good and you're better than everybody else. You're actually standing out. So I'd like to hire you as my assistant. And so that's how I ended up becoming Dua Lipa's assistant for the New Rules season.
Wow.
And so there's things like that. So she wanted me to be there to dance be one of the dancers, but there can only be like one Asian, like in the UK. So
too good to dance, but then you got to work on the back of it. So I imagine that it then involves a lot of planning and the choreography side of things. And how was it for you to then step into that role and kind of away from being just a performer, but starting to create something together with the head choreographer and kind of put ideas into movement, so to say?
So much fun, because it was for the Brit Awards as well. And I believe it was Dua's first Brit Awards. And Dua, on the night before the Brits, around 11 p.m. says, I want 60 more dancers.
60?
60.
Wow.
And during that New Rules campaign, they'd wear like these satin silk dressing gowns. So there wasn't enough costumes. So the next morning, the 60 dancers come. We're teaching them in the hallway, like the choreography. And then literally, because we didn't have enough costumes, what I did with the wardrobe is we'd wait backstage. And because the dancers were wearing a like swimsuit, and then over the top they were wearing a robe, and then start off with the robe, take the robe off kind of thing. But they'd take it off stage. So I'd grab all the robes going like, and then I'd run all the way to the other end of the O2 arena. And if you've ever been to the O2 arena, it's not small. Sprinting, being like, yeah! With these robes, and then putting it on each dancer, and not a single dancer missed a cue, walked out without a robe, and it was fine. But for me, like, I just love that rush. Like, I like that kind of pressure. Like, yeah.
You don't have time to think, you need to just do, and you kind of do it fast too.
Yeah.
So you kind of adjust and put together that choreography, and that kind of goes into the creation part of things, where I imagine at that point in time you work with Dua Lipa and she wants to convey a message, she wants to express something, but at that time it's still not your message, it's hers. What I'm curious about is, how do you convey that through dancing? Because I can understand if you want to share something through lyrics, it's pretty straightforward, or you can have a hidden message. But through movement, it gets a little bit more complicated. Not everyone might pick up on this, but as a dancer, you might have specific ideas. I want to understand what the process is a little bit for crafting, creating messages through movement.
Well, for me, like when I'm choreographing, it usually starts off with me having a mental breakdown. Like this morning when I was choreographing, I was like, ah. And I listen to the music. I listen to the words. And I'm constantly serving. Because I'm always telling my manager, I'm not in the entertainment industry. I think I am in the service industry. And so I'm constantly serving the song, the message, the music, whatever it is, the story. And I listen to the music and respond to that. And luckily, because we've got like smartphones, we can film ourselves, I'll then tweak things. And so for me as well, scientists say that body language is 90% of communication, right? And so for me, yes, lyrics is easier to get what you want to say, like your point across more on the nose. But I think there's an underlying kind of animalistic, historical, I can't explain it. I don't know what the right words are, but dance has this power that, is so much more deeper than words. And so when I'm able to marry the words and the movement, marry the melody, the drums and the movement, that, I don't know, I just think it's powerful.
How does that work in a cross-cultural context? So there's a cultural background in the UK and there's a cultural background in Japan, and certain movements, certain dances, certain rhythms and such may convey different things.
Oh, so different.
So
great question.
When you are kind of into that and kind of thinking about this, do you also think about the audience and who you want to convey this to specifically? Yes. Or do you just think about what you want to convey, how you understand it, and how you want to express it, regardless of who this is for?
Like, okay, so one of the reasons why I left the UK is because I was sick and tired of doing all of these, like, whitewashed, kind of half-washed, essentially Black American dance styles, modern dance styles. So hip-hop, cramping, all these different styles that come from the UK. I'm sorry, that come from America. And it was like, it felt like I was doing a stamp, like just,
Yeah.
And for me, I've been studying traditional Japanese dancing for almost, I shouldn't say it, but I've been doing it for 10 years. I need to be better. I've been studying traditional Japanese dancing. The style that I do is Nagoya Nishikawa-ryu, so it's from Nagoya. And so when I'm thinking about the Nishikawa-ryu, like, I use the words like groove and atmosphere, I guess, because maybe the Western mind wouldn't consider it groove. But when I tap into that space, it's beyond shape. It's the atmospheric space, like the feeling. Like when I tap into that feeling, if I use Western rhythms, it doesn't work.
Oh.
I need to, if I'm meant to dance to a Western song, in my mind, I will rewrite a new drum rhythm. And so I'll move to that drum rhythm that I've added in my mind onto that Western song, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting. So you have to really adapt and adjust, and it's not just the movement, and it's also the music itself to convey something.
Yeah. And so one of the reasons why I left the UK is because nobody was sonically, musically, rhythmically was doing anything that could serve Nishikawa-ryu, that could serve the movement that I wanted to do. Because as a dancer, I do hip hop, popping, and I like the femme styles. I get buck sometimes, and then I do Nishikawa-ryu. And so, yeah, the rhythms, everything's serving the Western European rhythms. Or actually in the UK, there's a lot of like Afro beats as well, but like it's not Japanese rhythms. And so, yeah, like I had to that's one of the reasons I had to step away, because I was like, my body doesn't want to do this, you know?
So the cultural context and the movement does matter and is very different.
Yeah.
When you were still in the UK, you mentioned that you kind of stepped away a little bit from a lot of things because you needed to figure yourself out and figure out and to become an artist what your message is and what you want to create. When did that kind of start coming up, that you started having these ideas of like, there's something that I want to share, and you started thinking about how can I create something for myself?
Honestly, like just living life. And that's the only like answer that I can think of. Yeah, just living life. Because even because like last year in June I went to the UK and I wrote a bunch of songs because I was there for songwriting, and it was predominantly about love. But then when I went back again in January of 2026, the songs that were coming out of me were completely different. Most of the songs that were coming out of me were like about how I've finally seen the light at the end of the tunnel, or kind of songs that are full of hope, you know? And I didn't even realize that. Like, I didn't go, okay, I'm going to write these songs. It wasn't that. I was just like, okay, let's see what I'm going to come up with. And I rarely wrote about love. And that's because I was just living life, and it just comes out. And so in regards to my artist development, just living life, it's just, I'm just an extension. Like, my art is just an extension of my life.
You were describing the difference between the artist as a creator and then basically just the performer or someone that does. And when you arrived in the UK, you were not an artist. So if I can rephrase my question, it would be, at what point in time did you kind of realize like, oh, now I have something to say. Now I can be an artist and I can start creating and write those songs and shift from just performing for others and what others want to create or share and start doing some of your own work?
I didn't think, now I have something to say. I didn't think that, but I was working as a full-time dancer in the UK, and I was, at the time I was working with Little Mix, and this was in 2019. So like way before pandemic, way before lockdown. And I was told that I would be going on tour with them, but then long story short, they ended up casting somebody else. And so that really broke me, because I thought I put in so much of my identity, my trust in the choreographer and the team and stuff like that. And when I was feeling kind of mourning for that period, I just asked myself, wait, why did I come to the UK again? This isn't why I came to the UK. And then I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be this upset, which in life you like up and down, that's just how it is, right? I'd rather be upset over me trying to find the path for my voice, my artistry. And so that was a kikkake to walk away from the dance industry. And that's around summer of 2019, I said, 2020, I'm going to lock myself away and just write and write and write and write. And so that was the plan, but then lockdown happened, and then it was just
so they locked you away to write and write and write anyway.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, I guess, yeah, like there's nothing else I can do. And so that's what I did. And it's interesting because like during that time, I like I think TikTok had just become TikTok. Like it was Musically first, and it was called Musically, the app, right? And then it changed to TikTok. And at the time, do you remember like the vertical filming was still a weird thing? Do you remember?
Yeah, maybe I don't remember in which year Instagram even adopted it, because they didn't have it until TikTok became
right.
popular.
So I think maybe Instagram was like 2021 or something, 2022. So you remember?
Feels so long,
right? And it's like it was that vertical screen was weird, but I remember because one thing I'm confident at is I can predict things. I can see. Okay, that's probably the direction it's going to go, or stuff like that. Or I can see, if I see a talent, I can see what you're going to be in 5 years' time. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it. I've always had this, right? And so I remember seeing that and going, this is going to be the next thing. Like, the yokodori is going to be weird. And obviously I was working in the film industry. So like all the film industry people were like, whoa, you know, weird kind of thing. And I remember looking at it going, yeah, and content's going to get shorter and shorter, more shorter than it is now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a song that's under a minute that's going to be catered to this space, and I'm going to film it like this. I'm going to make a dance and that's catered to this frame. And I had that thought in like 2020.
And that's how you came up with Random Ass White Girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Random Ass White Girl. But the thing is, what was interesting is, I was just living life. And I had that thought and I was like, yeah, that's a concept. That's an art piece that I want to make. Because for me, a painter goes to the art gallery and presents their work. But for me, I go to the internet to present my work. The internet is my gallery, right? And so I was like, okay, I want to do that. And then 2021, I was just living life because I'd moved back to Japan. I was living up in the mountains trying to write an EP. And I was driving around and I looked to my left when I stopped at the lights. And there was this dentist, big poster of this woman going like this, like, you know, loving life, this white woman. But this is like up in the mountains in Japan where I've not seen a single white person. So I was just like, who the hell is this catered for? And then I just went, random ass white girl, random ass white girl. Everywhere I look, there's a random ass white girl. And then I just went, that's a song. And so I drove to the studio, long story short, made the song. And then I said to Taiki, who was recording me at the time, I said to him, how long is the song at the moment? And he said, 59 seconds. And so I knew, I was like, okay, that's the song I've been trying to, this is the art piece.
Just put it out there.
That I've been trying to write for the past, I guess, year and a half. But it's because I was just living life. So I have all of these ideas. I want to make something like this, but I just lived life and then it naturally just kind of comes out.
And so you published that song and that went viral. Yeah. I think it's got like multiple dozens of millions of views.
Yeah.
And that was like a big turning point for you in a way.
Yeah, well, that was my first single. My debut single. Which will be known and visible forever on the internet. Yeah. But this is a single that led to many, many more interesting opportunities. Oh my gosh, so many. Like, I wouldn't have my manager, my publishers if it wasn't for this song. Literally.
How did that unfold for you? You post this online. Do you just go to bed and the next morning suddenly like the world's great?
No. So I wrote it in May of 2021. And it took me first of all 9 months to mix it because it wasn't right. Because I knew what it should feel like, right? And then I posted it, and then my younger brothers in the UK who were TikTok savvy, they were like, you should, make a dance video and all this and that. And then when I posted the dance video of me dancing with my dancer friends, that's when it picked up. So I think it was a week after the song had actually dropped. So it was the dancing that, got people's attention.
And then people started reaching out. But you also mentioned that this has led to death threats.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I had multiple death threats.
Why?
Because I guess the people that misunderstood the message thought that I hate white people, and I'm a racist. I think would be the shortest answer.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
multiple
this
death
is
threats.
the internet summed up in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, that's your first song that kind of got you a manager and kind of got you an opportunity to continue writing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you went back to your mountains to write your EP and to write an album eventually.
So I went to the mountains first, and then actually, you're right. I would go back and forth, but I wasn't in the hut that I was living in. Yeah.
So how was it for you to shift from creating choreographies and like physical movement to express things to actually writing songs and having to maybe combine both as well? Like, oh, I can say this and I can combine it with that. Before we started recording, you mentioned how one of your inspirations for songwriting was Paul McCartney. So what was your process for starting to write your album?
What was your question? Sorry.
What was your process for starting to write that album and kind of come up with how you want to convey your message?
Well, in 2021, when I was living up in Yamanashi, up in the mountains, I thought I was working on a 5-song EP. Like that was the plan. But then I dropped the interlude because Random Ass White Girl was an interlude originally.
Mm-hmm.
And when I dropped that, and then I got my manager and all these different things, and my manager, Kwame Quaton, love you, Kwame. He just, because I was saying to him, what's going to happen to my EP? And he just went, you're a writer, love. Right. And so I said, okay. And so I just wrote a whole bunch of songs, and that's when I wrote Where Do You Come From? And Life is Great. And Watashi no namae o machigae nai de hoshii no. Like I wrote all of those songs in like literally 3 months. And yeah, it's because my manager told me to write. I think as an artist, if you have a manager, I think it's easy to kind of as an artist, it's easy to just look at yourself and go, me, kind of thing. And the manager usually is the one that kind of is on the side, like, you know, they're okay if the artist is focusing on themselves. But it's a relationship. We're a team. So if I don't listen to my manager, what's the point of him even being there? I don't need him, right? So if he says something, because I trust him, because there needs to be trust there. And I'm very fortunate to have a good manager. So if he says, okay, what you need to do is write 5 songs with this person, I'll go, okay, and I'll just do it. You know, so that was kind of like the process. It was quite simple. It wasn't as like kind of magical or difficult as it can be.
The topics of your songs, so you mentioned, they kind of are just a result of life and how you've experienced it. And I think throughout our conversations, we got a few glimpses into experiences you've had growing up with your identity. And some of the songs you just mentioned kind of reflect this a little bit, like where are you from? Can you tell me a little bit about these songs?
My God.
And then also, interestingly, the music video, which is then a way for you as a dancer to convey, again, some of your lyrics.
So... Where do you come from? Started. There was this person called like, oh gosh, I can't even remember the TikTok name, but they were like keyboard warrior, troll, one of the people that was sending me death threats, you know, and they'd comment so much. Thank you. And, you know, they'd just constantly attack me. And they didn't like the fact that I was part white. Singing a song about how in Japan the beauty standard is centered around Eurocentric European features. Like they couldn't grasp it. They didn't like it. And, you know, some of the things that they said, it triggered and reminded me of some of the kind of racist outsider experiences, things that were said to me growing up. Like I'm never accepted as I'm a Japanese person. I'm never accepted as a British or a Polish person. And so I was just reminded of everything, you know, and I had the beat that Murao made. And so I literally just, it was the first words that came out, actually. They want to know. I was like, where do you come from? They want to know. But really, where do you come from? It just came out. And I remember actually, now I think about it, I remember writing it going, no, I don't want to be known as this like artist that only addresses racism or race and ethnicity. I'm like, I don't want to be that. But I think I am more than my ethnicities, my cultures. I'm more than that. And I mean it in a way of I'm a woman, I'm a human, you know. So regardless of your skin color, we all experience love, we all experience fear. Like I've got like kind of normal human things, you know, to say as well. But I think especially with the debut album, it was everything that people have said to me came out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so like the debut album, if anything, it's like the first layer of Shala, you know. And with the music video now, well, with the song, actually, the song was I was watching a certain anime when I wrote the song. And so the music video is referencing that anime. I don't know. Are you familiar do you watch anime?
Yeah, occasionally. Not that many, but...
Okay. So in the beginning of the music video, I am a human and I pour water on and I change and turn into an alien. And then at the end of the music video, I put hot water on and I change back into a human again. And so that's the clue for anyone who wants to figure it out. And yeah, so because of that anime, there's kung fu and martial arts in that anime. So that's why I do the martial arts. But this character, this alien that I created for the music video, she is from outer space. She's in that music video, she's 中学校3年生. And she is an alien who fights racism. That's her concept. And in Kakutogi, we'll have like different categories. So there's a category called musabetsu. What's it called again? Musabetsu.
No discrimination.
Yeah, musabetsu ryu.
Okay.
Is that right?
The school of no discrimination.
You have to cut this bit out. Let me try and think. So it's been a while. But gosh, I made that like 4 years ago. So this alien, the fighting style that she does is musabetsu ryu, which means no discrimination style, which is referenced in the anime as well. So it's all tied in. But yeah. But my dance training came in very handy when I trained with the kung fu teacher, who is actually in the music video.
So a lot of ideas, a lot of symbolism in there, also in your other music videos. And this first album, Wabi Sabi, was a way for you to process everything that was said and express it.
Yeah.
A lot of what we discussed today. I think you also mentioned the whitewashing, and I think this comes through a lot in your latest music video, Never Find Out, which you've done in collaboration with some of our former guests as well, Yuri and Joshua.
Yay!
Very interesting music video as well.
Thank you.
Now that you've been able to express these, how do you feel about this? And like looking back, does it make you feel like you're able to step forward? Do you feel like more needs to be said about it? Because you just also talked about how at the beginning you were hesitating. You didn't want to be that person, that singer that just talks about this, but you've managed to express it. So how do you now look at your work at this first album and continue creating?
I think, well, looking back at the never find out music video. I went through hell and back for that video. Like, I really suffered making that video. And so I look at the art piece now and go, do you know what? That's why I had to really like be tested, because it's a beautiful art piece. It's a necessity for the Asian community globally. And I think I'll continuously say these things because I can't change like what I am completely. And no matter what, there's going to be somebody that says, oh, your English is so good for somebody who's Asian. Or there's going to be someone that says, hey, 日本語どこで勉強したんですか? Like, I'm just going to always, sadly, have that first interaction, right? And so, with the things that used to be a problem for me, I just know that I need to stand up against it and use it as my superpower. You know, I honestly, growing up, I just wished, why can't I just be one like race? Like, why? Why did
one
I
or the other?
Yeah, life would have been so much more easier. But I just know that actually, this is one thing that Joshua, who came on the show, he said to me, Shala, you're the one who takes the bullets for everybody. You're taking the bullets for us.
Because you expose yourself online.
Yeah, and I just think, do you know what? Like, at the end of the day, I just think, I'm going to die one day. So, fuck it. And I just go, let's go. You know, if there's something that I can protect, if I can fight for, let's go. Bring it on. I'll do it. So that, I don't know, like it's just, yeah.
That album, Wabi Sabi, when you shared it with me, you asked me if I could listen to it in its entirety in the order that it was recorded. Why was that important to you? Because
in the album, I've hidden something that is, first of all, me. It's like from the first song to the last song, it's like, it's how you get to know somebody. Like your first interaction is their physical appearance. And if you have the ability to see. And then from there, you get to know, you know, you hear their accent, or you get to know like the occupation, all these different things. And hopefully, if you'll get to know who they really are inside. And for me, from the beginning of Shala Sphere and then Never Let You Go, Rent Free was a bonus track, so it wasn't meant to be there originally, but I like to call it the onion peeling. So each layer is a part of me, but it's eventually you'll get to my heart, you know, and what I'm about. And there's also, like I said, I've hidden something in the album where if you're suffering from anything that's like mental pain, negative thoughts, if you listen to the album top down, the atmosphere in the room will change. I've hidden something that will transform the atmosphere. So the negativity will be wiped away.
Interesting.
So that's, but it's just, because that's just the power of music.
Your album was written, it was a mix of English and Japanese. And so there's a high chance that part of the audience will be able to understand the English side and the other part of the audience, the Japanese side. But maybe not everyone will get both. How did you think about that when writing your songs and kind of thinking about what you said for them, what you've hidden and the message in there?
Well, one of the reasons why it took me forever to be able to write was I thought I can only write in one language. That's what I thought. And one day around 2020, I had this realization, or maybe 2019, I had this realization. I was like, wait, how does my brain work? Like I hadn't thought about it. And in my brain, like 常にこんな感じで the two languages もう常にこう日本語から英語からもう混ぜ混ぜ like that's just how my brain is. So I was like, let me just try and write how not stop myself, you know. And I didn't like now I can say it because I've like thought about it, but you know, traumatic experiences, like, you know, when people would say to me, oh, your English is so good, or your Japanese is so good, and it's like having these random like micro racist comments said to me, it was actually blocking me from writing, and because people couldn't comprehend what I wasn't around enough creative people who were like mixed like me. And also I one thing I always say to people is being biracial doesn't mean you're bicultural.
Oh, interesting.
So that's my strength. I am mixed race, I'm biracial, I'm also bilingual. But my third strength is I'm bicultural, because there's a lot of people, especially if you like only lived in Japan and you're biracial, you might be bilingual, but you're not bicultural. And I know, like, because I've spent enough time in the UK, I've spent enough time in Japan, I can switch personalities, if you will, you know.
To adapt to either.
Yeah, and I'm sure you
context.
can do that too, right? Yeah, so it's, you know what I'm talking about. So it's like, that's my strength. And I think in Japan, a lot of people don't understand when I say that, because especially like record label kind of people, they think, oh, she speaks English, so yeah, she's going to reach the international market. And it's like, it don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And so with my music now, I was just like, do you know what? This is just who I am. That's why I mix it.
You just brought up an interesting point, the record label, the Japanese music industry. So you're based in Japan now,
yes.
in Nagoya, and you produce your music, and we're going to get to your current work very soon. But how do you then, for someone that has this bicultural context and someone that is making music for an audience that is also maybe multicultural, international, approach this when you're dealing with maybe a Japanese music industry that is, I would say, generally speaking, more Japan-centric?
Yeah. I've just had like so many stupid comments said to me, like, やっぱ出だしが日本語だとインターナショナルマーケットで通用しないんだよね. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, shut up. Like, do you know what? Like, I got my manager and I've got publishers, people in the UK with credibility interested in me right now. And the one thing that they said to me is, they said, you know, when you sing and rap in Japanese, it feels good. And at the end of the day, like, it's a feeling. If you don't feel right, you know, it doesn't matter like what language you speak at the end of the day. That's what I think. Obviously, like lyrics help, words help, because, you know, it can heal you, like reading like lyrics that can touch your soul. Like, yes, as a songwriter, yes, fully agree. But it's like, man, like, it's just been so, like, it's the comments that I've had in Japan, it's like you're looking at the outer surface and you're not looking at how the car actually works.
They're not peeling the onion layers.
No, it's like you might look at the body of the car and go, wow, that's a great car. But then you actually look at the engine and it's like...
So it's like, can they poster you like the random ass white girl on that dentist's signboard and sell you like that or not, and not look at what you're actually trying to convey in the message of your work?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Japanese, I think they're like arafifu, like oji-san, the men. I think it's more difficult for them to understand what I'm trying to say. It's usually people who are a minority, because I think the Western audience, the people in the West, they have to understand, like, Japanese people are the majority here. So, like, they don't understand what it feels like to be a minority. So, yeah, like, people that have lived in privilege don't understand what I'm talking about, you know?
So with all those experiences, now you have your new single out.
Yes.
And you're probably working on many more exciting projects. How did you approach this new piece of work differently?
Well, okay, so can I give you the long story version? Thank you. So, like, I was in Poland, and I was feeling sorry for myself. I was feeling so sorry for myself. And I was having one of those moments where I was like, I want to listen to something that I listened to as a kid. And is that how it goes? Yes, it is. And Craig David appears on my, like, For You page or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, Craig David. What was that song called? I choreographed to it when I was a kid. And I looked it up, and it's a song called What's Your Flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor. Iconic song for the dancers. It's like every dance battle you go to, actually I'm always exaggerating. Most dance battles will use this song. It's like a cultural phenomenon type song, you know. And I was listening to the music, and I was like, wait, is this how this song goes? Like, how did they do the vocoder? How did they, like, because I could tell there was an analog feel to it, but I was like, I couldn't grasp how they achieved the sounds and the harmonic information that was underneath it. I was like, who made this? And then I looked it up, because I'm like Wikipedia queen. Like, if I like something, I'll be like, if it's a film, I'll be like, who's the color grader? I need to know who's the editor.
So you like to dig yourself into those rabbit holes to really find out like, what's at the core of
you know, because especially, like, you know, speaking of color grading, it's like if I find somebody that I like and then I look at their credits, I'll go, oh my gosh, of course you did that one. Oh my God. Like, yeah. So that's how I kind of, I don't know, like, for me, it's fun. Like, I can see the artist, I can see their personalities and the different art pieces that they've been involved in. But yeah, so What's Your Flavor song, I saw the credits and it said Trevor, Henry, and Anthony Marshall, The Ignorance. And I was like, oh, I don't know them. Who are they? So I go on the internet, and I noticed that they'd worked with Shala, who was one of the first artists my manager had discovered and managed. So Shala is an iconic UK, especially like in the garage scene as well. Like, amazing singer, amazing artist. And so I just messaged my manager as I'm like feeling sorry for myself in Poland, being like, do you know The Ignorance? And my manager went, yeah, why? And I said, I want to write with him. And he goes, okay. And then my manager I sent them the Life is Great music video. And it was crazy, because apparently 10 years prior, we wrote this song in 2024.
Not so long ago, about 2 years, yeah.
And apparently 10 years prior, Trevor and Marshall, those are the two British producers, songwriters, they said, we want to find a Japanese artist and develop and create with a Japanese artist, but they couldn't find anybody, right? And so I sent them my music, and they were like, they looked at each other, apparently they were like, she's the one. We've been waiting for her for 10 years.
She's the one.
And so I went into the studio, and oh man, it was so good. I feel like crying. Like, I walked in, and it felt like the glove, like I'd put on a glove that just fit perfectly. And we were writing, and I don't know if you've ever seen many like songwriters interviews and stuff, but like when musicians talk about how God enters the room, and the atmosphere shifts. So literally, like, I walked in and we started writing straight away, you know. I think they were already working on something, actually. And within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the atmosphere shifted. And I'm going, yay, God came into the room, wee, kind of thing. And they're looking at each other like, this is too quick. This is moving. No, okay, this is special here. And and when we were because we wrote like a few different songs, but when we were writing this song, Marshall kept on saying to me, "Don't think, feel. Don't think, feel." And I was like, "What are you? What are you saying? Are you like mocking me because I'm Asian? What are you doing?" And he's like, "No, Bruce Lee. Don't you know Bruce Lee? Because they're Bruce Lee generation." And I was like, "No." And then Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon, he goes, "Don't think, feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory." And he says that in Enter the Dragon, and it's, I know, iconic, right? And when he said that, I was like, that's so cool. And I said, well, why doesn't the chorus go, don't think, just feel? And they both looked at each other like, that's it, you know? Because basically they were trying to get me to like get out of my head, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm working with Craig David's producers who worked on the Slicker Than Your Average album. They did What's Your Flavor? I was like, you know, I was feeling a bit nervous, you know. But no, they were super cool. And if it wasn't for Trevor as well, I wouldn't be the songwriter that I am today. Like, I leveled up thanks to Trevor, you know. Amazing songwriters and producers. And so that's how that song came about.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I can't wait
from Poland to the UK. Well, we're recording this a little bit before this is actually released, so I haven't listened to the song yet.
Yeah, no, I want to play the song so you can hear it.
It will be out when this is out as well. So
yeah, the song is out.
Everyone can go and listen to it.
Yeah.
And it will be on your YouTube channel and every kind of audio platforms as well.
Yes, it'll be on like streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, whatnot. So yeah.
So is this now leading to a lot more writing, a lot of new songs and a new album maybe?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I started writing album 2 in, I'd say 2022. So as I was writing album 1, I was like writing album 2. And basically what's happened is as I was writing, somebody in the music industry who really believes in me came and got involved in the Shala sphere, and he connected me with different producers, and well, he's the one basically that invited me over to the UK and just write, you know. And so I have no idea what's happening with my second album. Wait, I shouldn't say that. Wait, let me go. Let me go.
We will leave this in as is. The truth is out.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, I started writing album 2 in like 2022, and I thought I had an idea of what I was making, but then it just, life happened. Yeah, life happens, and it's like completely different to what I originally had planned. So I've got I don't know how many songs I've got. Like, when people ask me how many songs do you have, I just say yes.
Yes. Yes is the answer.
Yeah. So one of my dreams as an artist was Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones, when they made Thriller, what they did is like they wrote like 100 songs, and then they chose the best 10. And then from the best 10 songs, they said, okay, what's the weakest out of these 10? And then they replaced those songs with different songs. And then that became Thriller. And I thought that's an amazing way to work, because, you know, as much as it is challenging to kind of face the facts, sometimes some songs can be shit. You know, you can't polish a turd at the end of the day. So it's just like, yeah, that one was a good exercise to keep the muscle moving, but the one that I wrote 2 days later is significantly better, like, you know. And so thanks to the duration that I've spent creating album 2, I'm able to actually look at most of my songs from 객관적이니, you know, rather than being like, no, these are my babies, you know. I'm able to just look at them and go, no, that's not strong enough.
A lot of artwork in deciding which ones you want to put into your personal gallery, which is the internet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we can expect a lot more awesome music and very interesting music videos in
Yes.
the coming months and beyond. Shala, we covered a lot of topics.
I know.
Is there anything that you would have liked to talk about today that maybe I didn't ask you anything about yet?
I don't know. You're really good, so I don't know.
I don't know either, but now I want to listen to that song and to the others.
I know. I want to play the song.
Yeah.
I want to play the song. Should we listen to the song?
We can listen to the song, but we might get copyright striked by by YouTube. So maybe we'll listen to it off camera, and people can go and enjoy it for themselves wherever they like to listen to their music.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Did you have a good time?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
It was very interesting to kind of see how you grew into the artist you're today, and also your perspectives on creating art and how you navigate things, because every artist probably has their own way of processing life, of translating it. And especially for someone that comes from a dancing background, I kind of was curious about some of the aspects of, communicating this and transitioning from one to the other. And after listening to your album before meeting you and now meeting you, it was kind of nice to put all the things together. And I invite everyone to go and listen for themselves. It's a very nice and interesting album, especially when you pay attention to the lyrics and what is being said. Shala, thank you so much.
Thank you. Arigato.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was Unpacking Japan, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Cool. Wow.
Yay. Was that okay?
Oh, that was awesome. I had a great time.
You were so good.
Thank you for sticking with us all the way till the end. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the podcast. It helps us improve the show and bring you more in-depth conversations from Japan. Take care and see you next time.